We're back with another set of championship predictions. It's the weekend. Last round was very, very good for us. Now, round 29 is still ongoing, so we're not going to talk about that. But round 28, a couple of weeks ago, we got 4 scores correct out of 12. So our best weekend, and 4 is pretty hard to do, so I was very happy with that. We got Southampton beating Swansea 3-1. 2 1-all draws in Blackburn v Huddersfield and in Bristol City v Watford, and then Blues beating Stoke 2-1 was our 4th correct score of the round, so very happy with that one. If we could get something like that again, it would be brilliant. I highly doubt it, but let's get into these predictions. We start with Bristol City against Leeds. Bristol City have been in decent form recently. Leeds a bit shaky away, but picking up some great wins for them in their bid for automatic promotion. I just think this one might be a little bit tight. Someone may nick it, probably Leeds, but might be a controversial opening prediction. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. A relegation battle here, Blackburn against QPR. And I know Blackburn aren't one that are really in it, but I think they're falling towards it. Only 1 win in their last 10. There seems to be a bit of friction going on as John Dale Thomason wasn't allowed to take his pre-match press conference that he usually would, that every manager usually would. So I suspect that if they don't win here, maybe he's going to be shown the door. QPR, slightly better form than Blackburn at the moment, but not pulling up too many trees either. I think this will be a tightly contested game. I've got one goal for this game. Who's going to win it? I've got a sneaky feeling QPR will. So I'm going to go for Thomason, first of all, to get sacked, and QPR to win 1-0. Huddersfield take on Sheffield Wednesday, and Huddersfield are now managerless after sacking Darren Moore. Huddersfield's last 3 have all been draws against Plymouth, Blackburn and QPR, so 3 sides that are also struggling. This is the 4th side. Sheffield Wednesday not been great recently, no wins in their last 3. They drew 0-0 with Watford last time out, but I'm going to follow Huddersfield's trend and go for a 4th 1-1 draw in a row. Hull take on Millwall next, and Hull are just one of those sides very rarely draw. Their last draw was the 25th of November, and every time I go for them to win they seem to lose, and when I go for them to lose they win. So that's how I feel anyway. I don't check that, but they're just one of those sides that I can never seem to get right. Millwall were looking good, 11 points out of a possible 15, but their last 3 games they've faltered slightly, 1 point out of those 9. They are in a bit of a relegation battle. I'd say that they're stronger than the likes of Blackburn, so they're not likely to be in and around it by the end of the season, but there's every chance because they're not picking up a massive amount of points, and if their poor form starts to continue, then they may find themselves in a battle. For this one, I am going to pile a bit of misery on Millwall and go for a 2-1 win to Hull. Norwich take on Coventry. This one looks like a good fixture. Norwich have been in good form. They did lose their last league game 1-0, but they were away to Leeds, which is a very tough game. Coventry, they've had a brilliant rise up the table, and they are now occupying the 6th spot, so they'll be hoping they can stay there and get one of the playoff spots for the end of the season. Again, for the 2nd year in a row, and maybe this time go all the way. It's going to be tough to hold on because there's a lot of teams chasing, but they are the stronger side really. Other than the top 4, they're looking like the best side at the moment, so if anything, I'd expect them to leapfrog West Brom very soon. For this game though, I am going to put the brakes on Coventry a little bit and go for a 2-2 draw. Preston take on Ipswich next. Preston, a bit hit and miss, not the greatest form. Ipswich, they've only won 1 of their last 7 league games. They lost 2-1 in the FA Cup to non-league Maidstone, which was a very, very big loss for them. They'll be hoping it doesn't knock their confidence. They made some decent January signings, Kiefer Moore being the big addition, so he should be able to get them going up front. But they're now only 1 point above Southampton in third, so it's really tight. They don't have goal difference on their side. I think ultimately they will slip into the playoffs, but they'll be hoping for a good result here, and I think they will get it. So I'm going to go Ipswich to win 2-1. Rotherham face Southampton next. Rotherham picked up a point on the road last time out. That's only happened 4 times this season. In fact, it's happened in their last 2 games, which is a bit of a shock. But a good draw against Middlesbrough. They'll be hoping that if they can pick their home form back up a bit, they can start to build some momentum. But Southampton are a different beast. They've won 6 of their last 7. They're now unbeaten in over 20 games. I don't know the exact number, but it's over 20 now. So they are just unstoppable. They are gunning down Ipswich. They will get that second spot. I am 90% sure of it. And I think they're going to get a pretty convincing win here. Maybe not too many goals, but a lot of positive things, a lot of the ball, a lot of shots. They're really just going to nullify anything from Rotherham. But I'll go for a solid 2-0 win. Stoke take on Leicester. Stoke looked pretty good under Steven Schumacher to start with. Hard to beat, 5 unbeaten off the bat. Quite a few draws, but they were churning out results. However, 2 losses in a row against Blues and Sunderland, and they'll want to start picking it back up. But it's a tough task, as Leicester got back to winning ways at the weekend with a 3-1 win over Swansea. This was in midweek, sorry. And Leicester are just Leicester, aren't they? Top of the league, they're smashing it. They're going to win the league pretty comfortably. So I've got a feeling that Leicester will get all 3 points here, 2-1. Swansea against Plymouth now, and Luke Williams has had a tough start to life in the Championship. A draw against Blues, and then 2 3-1 losses against Southampton and Leicester, who are probably the strongest 2 sides in the league. So he didn't really have much of a chance. None of those are really winnable fixtures, considering it was Tony Mowbray's first game as well as Blues boss. But here's one that they will be fancying themselves in. However, Plymouth have picked up the away form recently, and they've actually only lost 1 of their last 8 league games. So they're in decent form. I think they're going to be safe this season to Plymouth, which will be great. It is mainly off the back of their home form, but it'll be a very successful season if Plymouth manage to stay up. I'm going to go here for a 1-1 draw. Watford take on Cardiff now, and Watford, they're in okay form. They're hard to beat. They don't lose often, but their last 5 league games, 4 of them have been draws, and that really isn't going to help them in their bid for the playoffs when there's a lot of teams around them picking up wins. So Watford need to start converting some of these into wins. Cardiff, they're not in great form. They've lost the last 2 games against Leeds and Plymouth. They were also humiliated 4-0 by Sheffield Wednesday before that in the FA Cup. So Cardiff, I'm not really fancying at the moment. I can see them continuing to slide down the table. So I'm going to go Watford to win 1-0. West Brom face Blues, and the Baggies have lost their last 2 league games away from home. But that doesn't matter, because they're home here. 30 points from 14 at home. Very strong. This is going to be tough. The last 4 meetings between these sides, Blues have won all 4, 3 wins at home and 1 win at the Hawthorns. But this feels like a different West Brom side. They're very capable at home, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. Tony Mowbray tasted defeat for the first time as Blues boss. It was 3-0 against Leicester, but it was in the FA Cup. We performed very well. The first half, we absolutely dominated yes, it was Leicester's second team pretty much, but we had enough chances to put the game to bed in the first half. But when you don't take your chances against a side with that much quality, especially on the bench, you're always going to get punished. 3-0 really was an unfair scoreline, but at the end of the day, it's a cup fixture. We're not going to go all the way, and I'd rather focus on a strong finish in the league. So, not too fussed about that. Hopefully we can get it right here. Oh, I'm not sure whether to be optimistic. I feel like if I say Blues to win, I'll curse us, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I do have a feeling that Blues are going to just manage to sneak something in the dying minutes of this game. So I'm going to go rather optimistic, Blues to win 2-1. Up to the northeast now, the final game, Sunday, it's Middlesbrough against Sunderland. This one's tough to call, as both sides have been rather inconsistent recently, but Sunderland sit 7th still, and Middlesbrough are only 3 points behind them with a game in hand. So that makes this game very interesting in terms of league standings. I think it'll be tight. I'm not sure which way to go. So for this one, unfortunately, I'm going to sit on the fence, but there'll be some goals, hopefully. 2-2. So, those are my predictions for these championship fixtures. Make sure to get your predictions down in the comments. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and hopefully, Blues can get a brilliant win in the derby. 4 wins on the trot. Can we make it 5? Let's hope so. Up the Blues.